Is it February? I don't know when I'm uploading this. Hello, I'm Beth Joey. This is a video. These are some books. Let's get into it. It is February. It is the month, the season of love. That is what this month is for me because February has Valentine's Day in it, and Valentine's Day is also the day that I'm going to be doing my menu tasting for my wedding, and all the wedding planning becomes really real. So I am super keen to get into all the romance vibes, all the gooey ooey feelings this month, and my whole TBR is going to be dedicated to that. All of these books are romances on my Kindle, so I'm not going to have any physical books to hold up for you, but let's get straight into the books that are on my aspirational, why am I struggling to say that word, aspirational, all the books on my aspirational TBR for February, all the romances I want to read. We are going to start with the final book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. Let's have a moment to mourn this series and how amazing it was. That is going to be Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This follows the final brother that I have been waiting for what feels like forever to have his romance for, because I feel like it's been teased throughout this entire series, so I'm hoping and praying that Hopeless is incredible. But let's get into the blurb, which according to Goodreads says, Beau Eaton is the town prince, a handsome military hero with a tortured past. I'm the outcast bartender, a shy girl from the wrong side of the tracks. He's 35 and all man, and I'm 22 and all virgin. He's also my fiance. Correction, my fake fiance. We start out as a bet. He doesn't believe that anyone holds my last name against me, so he offers me his to prove a point. It's a win-win. He gets a break from his concerned family's prying, and I get a chance to shed my family's reputation while I save up to ditch this small town. He says all I have to do is wear his ring, follow his lead, and pretend I can't keep my hands off of him in public. But it's what happens between us in private that blurs all those carefully drawn lines. It's what transpires behind closed doors that doesn't feel like pretending at all. This engagement was supposed to be for show. This agreement, it has an end date. He once told me he'd never fall in love, and yet here I am, head over heels for my fake fiance. I love the sort of fake dating, fake marriage, marriage of convenience kind of trope, and that it's just all over this book. I also love that we have an inexperienced heroine, because I think that often results in just a really beautiful romantic moment and tension-breaking scene, I guess, between the hero and the heroine, and I just absolutely love that. I love that we've got a bit of a tortured hero. Obviously, everything that Beau has gone through in the previous books is going to lead up until this point, and I'm really interested to see how Elsie Silver is going to delve into all of that trauma and presumably that PTSD. This should be a really good one, and it's probably going to break my heart. I can feel it already. Next up, we've got A Restless Truth by Australian author Freya Marske. This is the second book in the Last Binding series by this author, and it follows A Marvelous Light. This one, however, is a sapphic romance. The first book was an MM romance. This one is sapphic, and I love sapphic romances. I think that's my favorite sort of type of romance, even though I don't read a ton of it. But let's look at the blurb on Goodreads. It says, magic, murder, shipboard romance. Maud Blythe has always longed for adventure. She expected plenty of it when she volunteered to serve as an old lady's companion on an ocean liner in order to help her beloved brother unravel a magical conspiracy that began generations ago, and is covered in the first book, so read that first. What she didn't expect was for the old lady in question to turn up dead on the first day of the voyage. Now she has to deal with a dead body, a disrespectful parrot, and the lovely, dangerously outrageous Violet Debenham, who's also returning home to England. Violet is everything that Maud has been trained to distrust, yet can't help but desire. A magician, an actress, and a magnet for scandal. Surrounded by the open sea and a ship full of suspects, Maud and Violet must first drop the masks that they've both learned to wear before they can unmask a murderer, and somehow get their hands on a magical object worth killing for, without ending up dead in the water themselves. Okay, so we've got a murder mystery, which I love. It's on a ship, so it's sort of an enclosed environment, which always raises the tension and the stakes. And then we've got a sapphic romance at the same time. I can't wait. Next up, we've got what's been reviewed, I guess, to be a super sex positive romance by Amber Roberts, and that is Text Appeal. This one's Goodreads blurb says, as the only woman programmer at her firm, Lark is thrilled to land an account for a huge client, but her dream job quickly becomes a nightmare when she accidentally projects a scandalous and completely unsolicited picture from her phone onto the screen during a presentation. Before she can recover, her co-workers jump in to steal the account, leaving Lark jobless and broke. When a friend suggests text message-based sex work as a stopgap between jobs, Lark is dubious. She's all about sex positivity, but carrying out sexual fantasies, even digitally and anonymously, with complete strangers is daunting. How will she explain how she's earning a living, especially to Toby, her good friend and longtime hopeless crush? Still, she needs the money. And after a few embarrassing and hilarious conversations, she actually starts to like sexting, especially with one particularly charming and nerdy client who keeps popping up in her DMs. But as Lark and Toby grow closer, she finds herself with a decision to make. Tell Toby she's a sex worker and try to forget the anonymous client who has her struggling to separate work from real feelings, or keep the secrets that are piling up in her inbox. Absolutely love this one because you've got a sort of friends to lovers angle to it, but then you've also got a kind of secret pen pal but bring it forward into technology era kind of situation as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Next up, we've got a romance from an author who I've only read sort of mediocre thrillers from. Don't come for me because I know you're gonna recognize the author. And that is The Boyfriend Candidate by Ashley Winstead. I'm sorry, I don't like her thrillers, so I'm gonna give her romances a go. The Goodreads profile says, as a shy school librarian, Alexis Stone is comfortable keeping out of the spotlight. But when she's dumped for being too meek in bed, she decides she needs to change. And what better way to kickstart her new, more adventurous life than with her first one-night stand? Enter Logan, the gorgeous foul-mouthed stranger she meets at a hotel bar. Audacious and filterless, Logan is Alexis's opposite. And boy, do opposites attract. Just as she's about to fulfill her hookup wish, the hotel catches fire in a freak lightning storm. In their rush to escape, Logan is discovered carrying her into the street where people are waiting with cameras. Logan promptly and shockingly flees. Alexis is bewildered until suddenly pictures of her and Logan escaping the fire are all over the internet. Turns out Logan is none other than Logan Arthur, the hotshot candidate challenging the Texas governor's seat. The salacious scandal is poised to sink his career and jeopardize Alexis's job until a solution is he and Alexis could pretend to be in a relationship until election day, in 2 months. What could possibly go wrong? So we've got some fake dating. We've got something that reminds me a lot of Take a Hint, Danny Brown, because that particular book as well by Talia Hibbert covered a sort of fire alarm going off and a moment where the hero carries the heroine out of the building fireman style, pictures are taken, it goes viral, and they fake date as a result. So I'm hoping these two books aren't too similar because I really loved that one. So Ashley Winstead, you got a lot to live up to because Talia Hibbert is like god tier in romance in my eyes. Next up, we've got a book that, yes, it's part of a romantic series, but I wouldn't necessarily call this first book a romance because it's pretty much just torture. And that is The Awakening by Caroline Peckham and Susanne Valenti, the first book in the Zodiac Academy series, which I am taking 2 on because I'm determined to read the series because I've heard so many people saying that once you get like a few books in, it becomes amazing. But it's a bully romance series, and the blurb says, you have been selected to attend Zodiac Academy, where your star sign defines your destiny. If you're one of the Fae, elemental magic is in your blood, and apparently it's in ours. As twins born in the month of Gemini, we're a rare breed, even in this academy of supernatural a-holes. Changelings were outlawed hundreds of years ago, but I guess our parents didn't get the memo, which means we're totally unprepared for the ruthless world of Fae. Air, fire, water, earth. No one has ever harnessed all 4 of them until we arrived, and it hasn't made us any friends so far. As the rarest elementals ever known, we're already a threat to the 4 celestial heirs, the popular, vindictive bullies who happen to be some of the hottest guys we've ever seen. It doesn't help that they're the most dangerous beasts in the academy, and probably on Earth too. Our fates are intertwined, but they want us gone. I can't wait to step back into this series and give it another go. I didn't love it the first time around because there's no romance. It's all bully and torturing and horrificness, but I did read it when I was well and truly under the influence of COVID. So I'm hoping that, you know, now that I'm reading it without a killing headache and massive body pains, I might enjoy it a little bit more. Next up, we've got a book by the author duo Christina Lauren, who I recently haven't loved, but because this one is a spin-off of a book that I did love by them called The Soulmate Equation, I'm willing to give it a go. And this one is The True Love Experiment. And its blurb says, sparks fly when a romance novelist and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story and take both of their careers to the next level, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. Felicity Fizzy Chen is lost. Sure, she's got an incredible career as a beloved romance novelist with a slew of bestsellers under her belt, but when she's asked to give a commencement address, it hits her. She hasn't been practicing what she's preached. Fizzy hasn't ever really been in love. Lust? Definitely. But that swoon-worthy, can't stop thinking about him, all-encompassing feeling? Nope. Nothing. What happens when the optimism she spent her career encouraging in readers starts to feel like a lie? Connor Prince, documentary filmmaker and single father, love a single parent trope, loves his work in large part because it allows him to live near his daughter. But when his profit-minded boss orders him to create a reality TV show, putting his job on the line, Connor is out of his element. Desperate to find his romantic lead, a chance run-in with an exasperated Fizzy offers Connor the perfect solution. What if he could show the queen of romance herself falling head over heels for all the world to see? Fizzy gives him a hard pass unless he agrees to her list of demands. When he says yes, production on The True Love Experiment begins. Connor wonders if that perfect match will ever be in the cue cards for him too. I love this. I love the single parent trope. I love a sort of heroine who's just trying to repair her image. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get through the rest of the list quickly because I'm losing light because it's England and it's almost 4 p.m. in winter, which means it's about to be pitch black soon. Next up, we are reading the spin-off series of a series that I loved, which was the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. And this one is going to be the first book in the Briar series by this author. It is called The Chase, and I think it follows the siblings of one of the main characters of that first Off-Campus series. And the blurb says, everyone says opposites attract, and they must be right because there's no logical reason for why I'm so drawn to Colin Fitzgerald. I don't usually go for tattoo-covered, video gaming, hockey-playing nerd jocks who think I'm flighty and superficial. His narrow view of me is the first strike against him. It doesn't help that he's buddy-buddy with my brother, and that his best friend has a crush on me, and I just moved in with them. Oh, did I not mention we're roommates? I suppose it doesn't matter. Fitzy has made it clear he's not interested in me, even though the sparks between us are liable to burn our house down. I'm not the kind of girl who chases after a man though, and I'm not about to start. I've got my hands full dealing with a new school, a sleazy professor, and an uncertain future. So if my sexy brooding roomie wises up and realizes what he's missing, he knows where to find me. Don't get me wrong, when I read the line saying that the professor was kind of sleazy, I'm really hoping there's a confrontation scene between Fitzy and this professor where he essentially tells the professor to back the hell off and sort his shit out because the angst in that would be absolutely incredible. But yeah, it's a sort of brother's best friend kind of romance. Seems to be reluctant, at least on the part of the brother's best friend, and I can't wait. Next up, we've got a book by an author that everybody's been telling me that I need to read if I love romance, and apparently I'm not a romance book reader unless I've read from this author, and it's Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory. I really hope that's how you pronounce her last name. The Goodreads blurb says, Margot Noble needs some relief from the stress of running the family winery with her brother. Enter Luke, sexy, charming, and best of all, in the too small world of Napa, a stranger. The chemistry between them is undeniable, and Margot is delighted that she lucked into the perfect one-night stand she'll never have to see again. That is until the winery's newest hire, Luke, walks in the next morning. Margot is determined to keep things purely professional, but when their every interaction reminds her of the attraction still bubbling between them, it proves to be much more challenging than she expects. Luke Williams had it all, but when he quit his high-salary tech job in Silicon Valley in a blaze of burnout and moves back to Napa to help a friend, he realizes he doesn't want to tell the world, or his mum, why he's now working at a winery. His mum loves bragging about her successful son. How can he admit that the job she's so proud of broke him? Luke has no idea what's next for him, but one thing is certain, he wants more from the incredibly smart and sexy woman he hooked up with, even after he learns she is his new boss. But even if they can find a way to be together that wouldn't be an ethical nightmare, would such a successful woman really want a tech world dropout? I absolutely love that this is going to be a little bit of a hero pining after the heroine situation. I just love it when the guy falls first, so it should be fun. Second from the end is a fantasy romance that I've seen a lot of people talking about lately, so I'm keen to pick it up because apparently it's amazing, and that is Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu. I am apologizing now if that is not how you say the author's last name. The blurb says, I defy the stars. In a world where no entities exist but the stars, cruel and merciless gods that watch over the world, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy that promises she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. But when one descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom, she is forced to flee into the arms of her enemy in the neighboring country. As she learns more about her own magic and the depth of the star's deceit, she also finds herself learning more about the country she is forced to take refuge in, and the enemy prince forced to train her into a weapon. Something dark brews within her, a power made of night and shadows that beg to be broken free. Enemy still lovers romance. That plot doesn't tell me a lot other than there's gods and stars that are apparently really evil. All good things. And lastly, we've got my first Why Choose romance, which is also a hockey romance, so should be a lot of fun. And that is Pucking Around by Emily Rath. The blurb says, my name is Rachel Price. Nice to meet you, Rachel. And 2 months ago, I walked away from the perfect man. Sweet and funny and so hot it should be illegal. We shared one magical night. No names, no strings. I never thought I'd see him again. I was wrong. It turns out Mr. Perfect is the Playboy grinder for the Jacksonville Rays, the NHL's hottest new hockey team, and I'm his new physical therapist. Oh, and the jerk doesn't even recognize me. This fellowship is going to be the longest 10 months of my life. Mr. Perfect Mistake will do anything to get back on my good side. Meanwhile, his best friend is the surly new equipment manager, always writing my case. Worst of all, I've got an uncooperative goalie who thinks I can't tell he's hiding an injury. This is my chance to prove myself, and I'm not risking it for anything. But with one unexpected night, one secret revealed, these men are ready to test all my limits. I can't fall for a player, let alone 3. But if love is a game, these guys are playing to win. I'm keen. I'm a little bit keen. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this Why Choose Romance. I can't wait to have my first ever Why Choose Romance experience. So yeah, it should be a smutty good time. So those are the 10 books that I'm hoping to pick up in February. As always, this is my aspirational TBR. And the way that I've been reading lately does not guarantee that these 10 books are going to get read, but I have hopes and dreams and plans that they will. So wish me luck. Let me know in the comments down below what books you're planning to read in February, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or just let me know what you're reading at the moment, loving it, hating it, all that kind of thing. Come and chat to me in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It's a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!